So I thought I would talk about how I do the bed up in winter, especially when we have a winter storm. And there's a pretty good chance we might lose power tonight, the next couple days. So I thought I would just make the bed as warm as I could. So how do I do that? I don't have a lot of money. If the power goes out, electric things aren't going to help at all. So this is one thing about me is I love a lot of blankets. So this is what I did. I'm gonna start here. Now, there's the bed sheet. Now, I put this fleece blanket down. This was one, just a cheap queen size fleece blanket that went about $10. I'm putting this on the bed. The trick is you sleep on this. It's much, much warmer than just sleeping on that cotton sheet or whatever it is. Then I have another fleece blanket that I'm going to put on top of me. Now, this is a old Harbor Freight safety blanket. This is not even supposed to be bedding, but it's warm and I like it, and I've had it for ages, so I use it. It's not huge though, so I put it in between so it doesn't, um, short me basically. So but it's gonna add an wool. It's mostly wool, and it's warm, so it'll help add to the warmth level. This, I did not want this right next to my skin because this is a cotton bedspread. I got this at IKEA. It's like $20-$30. It's oversized, so it's a good thing to put on top of that wool blanket because it covers it up. Now, these I made myself. This is a knit Afghan I used with leftover fabric scraps. And this is a crochet Afghan. And one problem I always had making people crochet Afghans is they would always complain, it had too many holes. And then, you know what? I never made them another one. So, but it adds weight and warmth. And combined with the knit one, it's going to be very toasty. Then I got these cheap little throw blankets at work. I think they were like $5 each, and there's two of them. So I have one on this side of the bed and one on Cleo's side of the bed. And that's about when she showed up. When I spread that out, she's like, oh, that looks very nice. This is an old twin-sized fleece blanket that I bought my husband about a year before he died. And he loved it. He loved to snuggle under that thing. But it is queen size. It is king size. I have a queen size bed. So I put that on the top. Now, what I would do normally is put a queen size bed sheet over all of this. But Cleo has a lot of issues with fabric in the air. It makes her very uneasy. I had a heck of a time getting these blankets on. She had a very hard spay experience. She was feral at the time, and they had to hold her at the vet for a couple days. They had to move her around, and one thing they would do is they would put a towel or a blanket over her to move her and handle her. So if she sees any kind of linens in my hands, she will have a absolute freak out. So we're not going to scare her, but when she gets up, I'm going to put that a queen size flat sheet on top, and that will be much, much warmer. I also want to show you something you may not have thought of. Now, what I did when I had basically a home disaster several years ago, and they took all my bedding and they cut these huge holes in my drywall because the house had flooded from a broken pipe. And it was very, very drafty, very cold. So I bought some sleeping bags. Now, if I lose power, I'm going to put this sleeping bag on the top of the bed. And this cost me about $10, but it was from Walmart. I got it delivered, actually. And that was early 2020. So it's a possibility. If you have an old sleeping bag somewhere, get that thing out. Now, this is nylon. It's not warm to the skin. So I would put something in between me and this. But if you have one like that nice fleecy lining, get that bad boy out, put it on the mattress, sleep on top of it. You will love it. That's what Ron and I did when we first got married, because we lived in this horrible apartment and it was very, very cold. And we put the sleeping bag on the bed and then we slept on top of it, and it was much, much warmer. And little Miss Cleo was very comfortable. So I'm going to go to bed.